of the Tikkun Zohar, without the Hakdama, I guess, but it still calls it Hakdama. So we'll be on page Tav Kuf Tes. It says, the blurb says at the top, first it says Hisoris Rebbe Rashbi Vatzadikim, arousing them. I think that's what it means, the arousal of them. Achar Shekidar of Eliyahu and Navi the Philosof Besider Shevachov Shel Ha'Ein Sof Baruch Hu Shuhu Ilus Ha'ilus his skill b'mitzvahs b'mitzuva. The Zaras the Rebbe Shimon v'lo oirach of the Galus Sodas HaTorah ki lo levada v'nitna ha'rishus the Geula, because only for him the Rishus is given, the Goel, to reveal Hashchina v'Yisrael me'Galus. I said it wrong. It means to redeem. It's so he said levada nitna rishus the Goel Hashchina v'Yisrael me'Galus ayidei gilui sisrei haTorah she'al yodem yaor yichud elyon. Ultimately, this is why we learn this material, is to form a yichud elyon. Lefichoch hoya muzraz or mizores belashon kum Rebbe Shimon. This is the Eliyahu Hanavi Zechalatov saying this. Va'aseh va'al ta'acher. So do it now. Don't put it off. Now at the bottom he says, he just has a couple of notes. He says, now I don't know what this is really trying to do. He says, Alpi Kisa Melech. So the Kisa Melech, I guess, reported this. So we'll see this in a couple of places. It says little site references of who actually is writing this or where he's taking this from. Let's come up back over here and let's read the Pirush Rahut, or maybe we'll do not that, we'll do the top part instead. So it says, Kum, get up, Rebbe Shimon, v'hischadshun milin al yadach, and things bring out new ideas through you. They're going to come out through you. The har rishusa, isloch, the isyahidloch, different possibilities are given to you. The golah to reveal razin tmirim al yadach, secret things through you. Maldalo isyahiv rishus, the golah l'shum bar nash adkan, where no one else was given this opportunity. Now we know that this is, I'm assuming that this is in the cave. And this is after, I think, the destruction of Rabbi Akiva and the Cherugi Malka. This is a very, very low time in the Jewish people. Come, Rebbe Shimon Psach v'Omer, so get up, Rebbe Shimon, begin and speak. So he quotes a pasuk, and he says the pasuk, L'cha Hashem ha'gadula b'chagavura, for you Hashem is the greatness, the gevura. Eloyin shimo inun dimichin dechevron. So Eloyin, not sure exactly, but he means those upper ones, or he says for the spiritual world. Shimo inun dimichin dechevron, those who are sleeping in Chevron. V'rayim mahemna yitayr mishanasachon, and the Rayim mahemna, you wake yourself up from your sleep. Hakitzu v'rananu, get up, rejoice, celebrate. Shochne, offer those of you who are sleeping in the dust. Elon inid zedekaya, who are they? The zedekaya, the inid misipta tahachu, the hitmar bad. They come from this side where it said in regards to this, Ani yeshena, I'm sleeping, v'libi air, but my heart is awake. V'lav inun mesim, but not these are not the dead. V'lav inun mesim, aren't these the dead? V'gindo itmar b'chom hekitza v'rananu, that's why it says wake up and rejoice and celebrate. Hekitza, wake up. Rai mehemna itayr ant, so you, Rai mehemna Moshe Rabbeinu, itayr ant ba'avhan v'isarusach of the shkinta, with the arousal of the shkina. Because she's sleeping now in Galus. So all up until this point, the Ad Kan, the tzaddikim kuhu dimichin, they're all sleeping in a deep sleep, I guess, in their graves. That's why I understand it. Bechor is a hole, so figure it maybe it's a grave. Let's see what the Pirush Rahut says. Amar Eliyahu Hanavi says, Kum Rebbe Shimon v'his chadshun milin al yadoch. Kum v'his dares, Rebbe Shimon v'his chadshun divrei Torah, v'sedosecho al yadoch, because everything will come about through you. B'al tis'akev, don't hold it back. Oh, the milagalus, so this to go. In other words, I picture this that we are talking about Rebbe Shimon in the cave rather. I'm sorry. And Eliyahu was at the mouth of the cave, so to speak. He's telling him it's time to get up for all you learned. Start teaching. The whole Rishusa Islach is Hidlach. He says given to you. The Golah Razin to Mirim the Yadah. V'yishalachal the Badacha, only you, Nitna Rishus Midishamayim the Galus Sodas Nistarim al Yada. Madalo is Yehid Rishus the Golah Lashum Bar Nash Adgan, no one else has been given this Rishus. Mashadach Nitna Rishus Kazuchel Lashum Adam Ad Ata, Ve'ain Ish Milbaladecha the Goel Shechina, only you can redeem the Shechina V'Yisrael and us, Mehagalus. So this is very interesting because now the darkness of the period of time, which is upon the Jewish peoples, where the Gemara is talking about, Rebbe It said, wasn't that the story where he could slaughter a deer and then take the hide, and then how we would rebuild the whole Torah? Where you're talking about the lowest possible place that the Jewish people were after the destruction. V'lekach kum v'his dares the galus sisrei Torah the geula Shechina b'Yisrael. And number base, he says once again way down at the bottom, he says this is also al pi the Kizi Melech. Now he goes into an intro. L'chavona zamayim rabba nakdim mecha mecharizal echa avos hakadoshim heim bebechinas chagat chesed gevurah teferes u'moshe nishmasach u'besod adas. And Moshe is panimi to them. Gam noida shatzadikim amukusharach b'shkinach v'chushuv tamid ech l'sachna v'la'alos v'la'alosach. So this is what the tzadikim are doing. They tie themselves to the Shechina, v'choshvim, and they're thinking tamid continues how to build her up, how to repair her, how to bring her up, l'alosa and bring her out. Na'asim merkava the malchus the Atzilus, and they make actually a chariot for the malchus of Atzilus and make it possible to make that connection with the higher world. Oh, the noida so the shena in yonder of Elias and the Shema. So the secret of sleep is at that time when we're sleeping. There is an Eliva of our neshamas v'chapenimios of bechinas man, which comes from penimios, which is the man the malchus. So this is their whole lives, is to be mekasher to the Shechina, and constantly be calling out to her. I guess that's what you would say, bringing up man. So those people who are like that, after they're dead, they're called alive. Because they continue to deal with this. And they elevate to her mayim nukvin gam la'achar b'tirasam, even after they're gone, because their whole lives were dedicated to this. V'im came misasam eina elaka moshena. So there it's only like they're sleeping. They're not really dead. Their only bodies are dead. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Gam noida v'gavanas the key is shofar. So it's also known when we're talking about going over to shofar. Shagavanasa the oirach v'chati ki also as their anpen b'bechinu shena v'dormita shalo. So the idea is to waken their anpen from that state. Kadei sheyamshik mochin the tzorach binyan parts of the malchus. What do we want them to do? We want them to be mamshich mochim to the nukva, to malchus, which is what we're trying to do, is elevate the Shechina. Gamo came kan, so therefore here, we'll talk about over here, kol nishiyiglach Rebbe Shimon sodas haTorah, kadei the sak in the Shechina, Choisech HaKavanasa, the Oira Nishmas Moshe Rabbeinu, the first thing he had to do was arouse the Neshama Moshe Rabbeinu because he's Panimi. And then the Havos after that, the Gedoshim, Kadesha Yamshichu Mochin the Tikkun the Shechina, so that they should be able to pour out Mochin into the Tikkun the Shechina. V'la Chashas HaGeula Shlema B'mira B'yomeinu. Amen. For the sake of that we're trying to do this. So down at the bottom he says this is according to the Zichron Menachem. You got that. So they're into a deeper level than... I bought a few of the other Zohars that, that the, what's the name of the KETER KAVOD put out. They don't have that. It's not a complete set. I thought it was going to be a complete set, but the devotion that's put into this in order to be able to make all of the Pirushim takes a lot of man hours. So now the Zohar starts. Come Rebbe Shimon, the Galos Sodas HaTorah. So now Rebbe Shimon got out to reveal the Sodas HaTorah, but Kodem Shehiskel, the Rosh, Pasuk V'Amr, before that he begins and he says like this, as Lashon HaKosov, he brings in a Pasuk. He says, the Pasuk says, L'chor Hashem Hagadula V'Hakabura. So what's it all about? V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzav V'Hod Ki Koso, it goes on because Gedula and Gevura is Chesed and Gevura. V'Hatiferet, then he says the rest of the spheres of the goof. He's a V'Hanetzav V'Hod Ki Kol B'Shemayim V'Aretz. So that's the whole Pasuk. It says the Chol L'Shem Amlacha. Now this is the rest of the Pasuk. Amlacha. That's it. The Hiskir Pasuk Zecher Shabo Nirmazu Kol Zayin Spheres Atachtonos. It tells all the Zat. Give the kasher to midos for the kasher to midos hamidos. Excuse me. To tie together the midos zer anpen umalchus shebegalus koyin defradim v'lo yichud. So now what he's doing is he's trying to arouse their yichud. And he goes on, and he says, Elayim Shimach v'Adyanim Shimo, Inun Demichin the Chevron, Izrayah Varaya Mehemnach Yisa'arach Mishinascha. So he says, Elu Yisheni Chevron, the Hainu Ha'avas Kadoshim, the Moshe Rabbeinu Haro and Ne'aman, so Moshe Rabbeinu, who is the real faithful shepherd, is ordered the Mishinascha, rouse yourself from your sleep. V'Amar Odin, he says furthermore, Hakitzu, wake up, Varana the B'Shokh Ne'afer, Hainu Ilan Sidikaya, we're talking about Elohim HaTzadikim Shemishkanam Tamid Shemishkanam Tamid Im Ashchina. V'lechein Nikra Shokh Ne'afer, so this Mishkanim is that the Shokh Ne'afer who dwell in the dust, al Shechina, with the Shechina, Shehi, so the offer, and he says the Shechina is the secret of dust. It's Malchus. Malchus is dirt, or earth. De'inan Mesitra Dehaku De Itmar Bei Shehem Mitzad Misha Ne'emar Bar, because they come from this point of view. That these that say that Ani Yeshena, I am sleeping, Ani Hi Hashchina, and who is the Ani we're talking about? That's Hashchina. He Omeres al Atzma, she says about herself, Ani Yeshena, I'm sleeping. Pi Begalish and Istalko Lamochim, Hi Bebechin Yeshena, because it's like she's sleeping. V'ulam Libi Er, but Libi, Heim HaTzadikim, Shechoshvim Tomib, Eich La'alhos, as Shechina, who are constantly thinking about how to elevate the Shechina. Uma'alim Laman, and they bring up man for her. Love Inun Mason, they're not dead. In other words, the Shechina, they're trying always, so they're learning with Hasmodas, and Hasmodah, but not only that, but they're trying to make a yichud. Ve'elach HaTzadikim Heim Einun Mason, they never really die. Which we see this in Chassidus, and we see this a lot. Ki HaTzadikim Gam B'Mosem Nikraim Chaim, they're also called alive even when they're not in this world anymore physically. V'gin do itmar b'hom, b'lakach ne'emar b'bechem lashon hikitzu v'rananu, wake up and celebrate and rejoice. Ki einam mesim ve'ein srichim ela le'orim misoda shena. Very interesting. They're not dead. All we need to do is arouse them, le'orim, misoda shena, from that secret of sleeping. The sleeping we were talking about, where they're like inert during that period of time. Now, just let's see. We have should I stop here and we'll go into it more deeply next time? I was thinking to try to come over to number Dalit. I just wanted to see it. So this is a very, very beautiful little piece. So let's see what he says. Number Dalit. So we would start at the bottom of the left column on the first page. So it says, "Kam Rebbe Shimon legalos sodas haTorah v'kodem shehiskil l'derosh pasuk v'omer." So he said before he's going to start talking, he begins and he says, as lashon akasav, l'chol Hashem hagadula v'hagavura v'hanetzav v'hatiferet v'hanetzav v'chod ki kol b'shamayim v'aretz l'chol Hashem ha'mamlacha. Then he says, v'hiskir pasuk zeh shebo nir mezuchah kol zayin sfiros hatachtonos. Today, what do you want to do with the seven spheres of Tachtonos? The kasha to hamidos. The idea is to take all of those midos, the seven midos, the lakasha them the yachad zer anpin umalchus, and make that possible. Shebagalos koyin nifradim lelo yichud, because that's the situation we are. It's not a straight line of light coming into the malchus. And now they're arousing their yichud. Let's see if we could do number Dalet al Pi, the Ber Yitzchak. Get a little bit of focus here. And he says, Rebbe Shimon the Pasuk Hazecha B'Fnei Shebo Nirmazol Kol Yuda Sfiros. Where it said Siros, he just counted 7. He says, Zion Mida B'Ferish L'Chol Hashem Hagadula V'Hagavura. V'Gimel Rishon Nirmazol B'Midas L'Chol Hashem. So you have the chol that starts off with the chol Hashem Agadula, like that. That refers to the gar. Moshe Amba B'Pardes. So apparently the Pardes was in the Perek Ches. See, he said V'Zel L'Shono Midas L'Chol Hashem. That phrase, Kinoi Al Gimel Rishonos. V'Chavin D'Chavinikra L'Chol L'Chol She'ol Nun. So he says, so it starts like this. It starts about Bina. Bina is called L'chol, because L'chol is the same gematria as the letter Nun, Kaminmin Nun Shari Bina. Ein Sham. Maybe Chavizecha B'Sidr Shar HaShemayim. Shar HaShemayim. I don't know that Sidr. It's the first time I think I know the Yeshiva Shar HaShemayim. Ein Sham. V'Kavanasach V'Chosa the Yachid Kol HaMidos Al Yedei or HaEin Sof Baruch Hu. That's the goal there, is to do that. So that's really what we are trying to do, whether we're actually constantly conscious of this or not. V'chatam shehikdim Rebbe Shimon yichud zecha v'gilui asodus kosav sham v'zel l'shonom gohan neknasecha v'drosh v'masa merkava tzrichen l'yachid l'kol l'kesher b'yehuda. So exactly what he's talking about, the Ma'aser Merkava. So what is the Merkava? It seems to me that the Merkava is, well, we know it's coming from Olam Yetzira. So Olam Yetzira is Penime to Malchus. So let's see what it says. The Drosh b'Marka Merkava tzrichen l'yadeh l'kol l'kesher b'yehuda. So if you want to do that, you have to have a yichud. U'kamoshe hizker Rebbe Akiva Al Tomer Mayim. Now, I did look that up at one time. It's I'm not sure what it means right now. Don't say water is water or water, which I think had to do with the physicality, but I'm not sure. Maybe you remember. I don't remember. We saw it. This is to tell you that the yichud all depends on it. So here we cause the Ma'aser Merkava. He's analogizing it to the 4 who entered into the Pardes. So he says, and that's where this phrase was said by Rabbi Akiva, al tomru mayim. In other words, to try to make something which is really ununderstandable and physical to start boiling it down. That's what think is. Think, remember it to be. V'zehu yichud shehakol tolui bo. This, what we're trying to accomplish in the entering into the Pardes, which he said over here into the Ma'aser Merkava. Tolui bo depends on this. Shalol la'asach afshalom pirot. And not stumble like Ben Azar, Ben Zoma, Ben Elisha, Ben Avuya, who is Acher. So he says, if you want to really get into this in Parshas Pekudei, and Daf Resh Kaf Daled, that would be an interesting place to look at. V'lechein, his order the Eliyahu Zal. So therefore, Eliyahu is now arousing everyone. V'tefilazu ala yichud v'kisha hamidus al yedei Rebbe Ein Sof Baruch Hu hamanheg hakol miyached hakol, who really leads the whole thing, causes the whole thing, and this is the main midah that we're learning, that we learn in the PATACH Eliyahu, that Ein Sof Baruch Hu is the power of yichud. So he says, hamanheg hakol miyached hakol v'achar shel Eliyahu Zal. Yached, he yached v'kisha hamidus al yedei Rebbe Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So they have a very, very strong connection here. Whereas again, we're talking about, at the lip of the cave, so to speak. He says that he's a yichud v'kasha hamidas ayideh Ein Sof Baruch Hu, and the presence of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, they're able to draw it in to make unity. Amar the Rebbe Shimon bo, so Rebbe Shimon is said bo ben Yochai. That's, I think, is a slight misprint in my book. Ben Yochai. The Chadash v'legalus asodas ad kan. Realizing, I think of what he's saying is what we learn from the PATACH Eliyahu is that the power of unity is coming from the Ein Sof. Okay, there's one more little one. We could get this in, and I just think this is very delicious. And it says, Inon demichin de Chevron. Those who are sleeping in that's right. Excuse me, I read wrong. After number Dalet is V'himshech v'amar Eloyin Shimo El Yonim Shimo. So there's this little vort here, or blurb here. He says El Yonim. What's he mean to El Yonim? Amar Rebbe Shimon Shimo. Rebbe Shimon now, I guess it's Rebbe Shimon saying, here, listen. Below Amar Isa'ara, he doesn't say awaken. Because now he's speaking to those who are sleeping, that's our fathers in Chevron. V'loraya Mehemna, and also the Moshe Rabbeinu, take up the smoke immediately after this, he's going to speak to them. Because he's saying that Eliyahu has his contact with Eliyahu is a malach. It says that able to create within him the koach of the neshama la'ora to really arouse them. So there in regard to them, he doesn't say awaken. He says get yourself ready. V'lo b'lashon oru. Al derek shebakol yichud mamshichin matechila or ma'al yonim, because he says that we have to understand that for every shefa to come down, has to come to that yichud, has to be mamshich metechila, the or of al yonim has to come from a higher place, al pi zichron menachem, and that's according to the zichron menachem. And that's the shir today, Rebbe. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
All kol tov.